Europe's general disapproval of capital punishment is mainly to blame for the shortage of execution drugs in the U.S. Due to that shortage, there's been talk in the U.S. of restoring gas chambers and firing squads instead of lethal injection. The European Union 9 years ago banned the export of execution products. It did that to take the lead in opposing the death penalty. But due to the EU's strict rules, the U.S. has experienced lethal injection drug shortages. Flawed U.S. executions are being cited as proof that changes are needed. In Ohio last month, convict Dennis McGuire took 26 minutes to die after an untested chemical mix began flowing into his body. He was seen gasping repeatedly.
Edward Snowden likely won't visit the University of Glasgow anytime soon, but the former NSA contractor still has been elected as the student body's official representative. This development was announced on Tuesday. Glasgow students gave this honor to the whistleblower to underscore democratic rights. A student statement noted, "We showed Edward Snowden and other brave whistleblowers that we stand in solidarity with them regardless of where they are." Snowden has been granted virtual political asylum by Russia. Given Britain's extradition treaty with the United States, Snowden is not expected to show up in Glasgow. U.S. officials have said they'd arrest him on criminal charges. Just a generation ago, Russian defectors risked life and limb to come to the U.S. Now it's the other way around. A senior Chinese official is being investigated for possible violation of discipline and laws. That's what a Communist Party disciplinary body told state media. The main official under investigation is Ji Wenlin. He's vice governor of the Hainan province and is linked to Chinese former security chief Zhao Yongkang. The probe comes during a broad crackdown on corruption by Chinese President Xi Jinping. Furthermore, it is rumored that Mr. Zhao himself is under investigation. Zhao, until 2012, was a member of the Politburo Standing Committee, which is the party's top decision-making body. It oversees China's entire security apparatus. In recent months, several of Zhao's business and political associates have come under scrutiny.
Financial hardball is the name of the game in Ireland, and private equity firms and hedge funds may be replacing banks as the main creditors to companies and the government. The Blackstone Group has been especially persistent in trolling for lucrative deals on the island nation. The group was founded by Peter G. Peterson, a longtime counsel and foreign relations member from the U.S. He also founded the Peterson Institute for International Economics in Washington. Blackstone and other private equity firms have been snapping up Irish hotels, but they're also advising Ireland's government on what to sell and when to sell it. Even the New York Times, which usually befriends Blackstone's dealings, revealed that the private equity giant's biggest Irish bet involves an unorthodox arrangement, awarding Blackstone 25% of Ireland's telephone giant Eircom. In return, Ireland gets better terms on its heavy public debt. These dealings are being called a vivid illustration of shadow banking.
Iran will not surrender its right to install advanced machinery to refine uranium. That's what the Persian nation's main point during the nuclear talks, which started yesterday. Some observers are calling it a serious sticking point in Iran's talks with several world powers, including the United States. But despite the rancor, other observers are glad the U.S. is talking with Iran rather than bombing it. The West says it's eyeing Iran's development of new generation centrifuges. These devices can more quickly process the materials used for nuclear weapons if the enrichment is done to a high degree. A militant Islamist group is warning tourists to leave Egypt. The Sinai-based Ansar Beit al-Makdi group threatened to attack anyone who stays beyond tomorrow. Observers now fear there's a fast-growing insurgency in Egypt, which will elect a new president this year. The same group claimed responsibility for a suicide bombing, which killed 2 South Korean tourists and an Egyptian citizen on Sunday.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is now warning Israel that it stands to become a binational state unless it ends the occupation of the land it captured in the 1967 war. The former Massachusetts senator is expected soon to present a deal to broker a truce between Israel and the Palestinians. Kerry went so far to say that Israel's future as a democratic Jewish state may be imperiled if an accord is not reached. However, skeptics say that Kerry talks a different tune in private and that these tough words against Israel are being used to placate pro-Palestinian peace activists. British archaeologists have returned to a treasured spot in Iraq located in one of the world's oldest cities. The researchers could not resist visiting the city of Urim despite the dangers presented by the long U.S.-led war. Due to the war and the ravages of time, Urim's palaces and temples lie in ruins. But the imposing ziggurat structure, which has stood for millennia, still dominates the desert flatlands of southern Iraq. From the structure's summit, one can gaze over the royal cemetery excavated 90 years ago by British researcher Leonard Woolley. He recovered treasures rivaling those found in King Tut's Egyptian tomb in 1924.